Well, hello. I had a 3-day pack in multicam I picked up from my buddy. It is nice, huh? Very slightly used. Extremely useful. Wonderful. This is a laid back and easy episode with Uncle Ken, Uncle Monkey, take your pick. I want to talk about hope, actually. You know, the storm that's actually going through Florida right now. Power will go out. First thing, of course, in a storm surge that gets overrun is water treatment plants. Yeah? I have it's a pinned comment below this. I'd like to take it apart and show you how simple this is. It's made in Switzerland. I got a few of these. It's called the KATADYN pocket filter. It's actually used by Navy SEALs and some advanced units. Look how difficult this is. A blind person could actually take it apart and screw that. It's all stainless, by the way. Did I mention it's Swiss made? Got a single O-ring there. That's pretty simple. Nothing really to break here. Never heard of one breaking. Unscrew these two pieces. We actually have a thick plastic sleeve here. Unscrew these two because the top section's actually screwed in to the base right here. Yeah. Here you go. Here's the hollow tube. Nothing to break there. Now you know why the Navy SEALs use it. You have a little ball valve down here. I didn't bring out the tubing, which of course attaches to the top and bottom, where you actually pump the water through for water filtration. Very simple there. Simple to clean. And here we have one piece, and this is the consumable part. See there, it's printed, tested. This is the ceramic filter. Yeah. You know, the only time, and you'll see it in the link below if you're interested in getting one, I stand by these. This is not meant for high volume, you know, the Brady family. People will use these for water filtration, and then they'll put it back together. Yeah? Oops, hello. They'll put it back together, and then they'll stick it back in the drawer or something like that. And then they'll complain about the filter. Like if you were to use like a wash rag and you got it really wet, and then you put it in a closed up drawer or maybe a Ziploc bag, and you came back, you know, a month or 2 or 3 or 4 months later, it's like, oh my god, look at that, there's mold on it. It's like, you put it away wet. You know, it doesn't matter how something is designed. I mean, if it's sealed and it's wet, then that could happen. So actually, after you use it, you know, you can leave it sealed up for a week or 2 or so, depending on the temperature conditions and humidity. But you got to take that ceramic filter out and let it air dry for basically about a week. Of course, it depends on the humidity that you actually have, but I really stand by these. Again, it's called the KATADYN pocket filter. You can find it in the, this sounds like but I am. I mean, I don't ever recommend anything that I myself don't also to have and use. This is an unused one. I got a couple that are very well used. And they also, too, sell the replacement filters. I wanted to go on about hope, and it's something none of us ever consider. There's a lot of metaphysics behind it. The ultimate reality is that hope is the spark of one's soul. You actually can't find it, just as you can't find a soul in the body, nor can you find a signal inside the radio. Everybody thinks there's a signal in the radio, but if they ever think about it intelligently, they know there's no signal in the radio, there's no soul in the body. That's neither denial of the signal nor the soul. But talking about hope, I'd like to get over some, you know, minor Greek minutiae here really quickly. In Elpida, in Greek, Elpis was the personification of hope. She was the last spirit to remain in the jar after Pandora unleashed, you know, her wrath upon the world. Roman culture, the figure in Russian, the word is Nadyezhda. And you know, the song, the early song in the 1900s, early 1900s was Revolutsiya Nadyezhda. I know if you're Russian, you know what I'm saying. The Roman cult figure spes, or hope, meaning good hope, is often referred to a dress, and statues depicted as a young maiden in an archaic dress with a flower offering, and a right hand holding it up, and the other hand holding up the hem of the outfit that she was wearing. There's an old saying that the hopeless have no hope but hope. And I'm 52 years old, and I would be a big liar. I mean, just big liar if I were to say, oh, I've never felt hopeless. You take care of someone, you know, like my wife, you know, with the grapefruit-sized tumor in her head, you know, for 10 years, and paralyzed on one half of her body, and you take care of her, and it's never hopeless, but there were moments there that it's just so awful that the spark of your soul just retracts from your body. I've actually, I don't want to get into the details of this, but I can tell you succinctly and honestly, and look into my eyes, that I've left this world more than a few times, and the same way that you actually retract out of this body, I don't care if you call it astral projection, I don't care what you call it. There have been a few times where I didn't make it. You know, I just didn't make it. You know, I was gone. This body and who I am were that number. That's literally happened physically. Of course, the physical remains. When I say physically, I mean euphemistically physically, separation between spirit and body. Literally a couple times, but forcibly many times, but I've never succumbed to any great states of hopelessness, because I have a lot of, I mean, I got nothing. I got no looks, I got no money, you know, no wife, no kids. I really don't have anything. I get $380 in my bank account. You know, I don't pin that as my hope. Some people judge themselves by that, and of course people empty themselves out for worldly desires and things that they want to possess, but once they have it, they want to possess it more, because if it's really valuable, they don't want it to be broken. They don't want anybody to take it from them. You know, it's very, no one ever talks about this, not that I know of, that the things that people desire so much, say this is something super expensive like a solid gold Rolex or something. I really wanted it, and I saved up all my pennies, I got it. Now that I got it, I'm worried about it, you know, breaking, and I actually had a two-tone Submariner Rolex once, and, you know, I'd go to the lesser reputable parts of Fort Myers and whatnot. You know, I was guarding my, people were like, oh, you take it off your wrist. I like to put it on my wrist for, you're like, no, you're going to take it and put it on your wrist and then run down the street because you know I can't catch you. It's like, no, that's not going to happen. You know, you have these worries and concerns over possessing things more after you already own them and have purchased them than you did before. I want to talk about hope. By the way, elpo, excuse me, means anticipation, and it says usually with pleasure, but that's not it. It's actually the spark of the soul. It's the thing that actually keeps people alive. There's a saying, the people that rescue people out at sea, Coast Guard rescue, where they fly in the choppers and people might have been floating in the water, multiple people, for 10 hours, 20 hours. They might have been floating in the ocean for days. There are many, many examples of this. And they will tell you, and it has nothing to do with their DNA or, you know, how physically fit they are. It's the ones that still have the light in their eyes are the ones that make it, the people that actually give up hope. And it's not measurable, it's not palpable, you can't put your hand around it. Like most things, can't put your hand around the signal on this radio. You know it's everywhere and nowhere. All I have to do is just turn on the radio. I'm like, well, there's the signal. Actually, that's not the signal, that's the broadcast.
1 a.m. Central Daylight Time.
We know it's there. You know, people won't deny that, but they will deny things they actually can't see. It's like the person, there's an old tale of a person that stepped outside of their house. This is about the soul, by the way. And they looked back in their house, and there's nobody here. Nobody lives here. It's just a house made of wood and paint. And it's like, the subject precedes object negation also, too. The subject is not an object for objective observation. It's that sort of metaphysical and philosophical myopia that contributes to an enormous amount of today's misery. I hate to say this, but you know it's true. And I'm not picking on any generation. I'm a Gen X, and of course I'm making a generalization, but it's still generally accurate, and that makes it a truism. If you actually point out something's generally accurate and people don't agree, well, it's not true, I know. And I say, well, I'm generalizing here, and the generalization is accurate, and that's what makes it a truism. So I can make that broad statement that Gen Z people, I've never seen, and it's not reserved just to them, I see people in my own generation, they just see the hopelessness that's in their eye. They know, of course, there's many things, they work hard. Not really anymore. They're being fired en masse, but I know why they're being fired. It's like I gotta work really, really hard, and I've sacrificed my time, and time is real life. And I get this money that doesn't do anything, and I have to give the rest of it back, and I'll never be able to afford a house or any of the things that I want. When I was growing up, I had that issue. I saw that. I mean, I lucked out to have this house paid for, and a couple cabins in the wood, and a significant amount of land. But I sacrificed many things that you all take for granted, like, going out and vacationing, and, I don't have a wife or kids to take care of. I wished I did. I'd rather have no land and no cabins, and, I'd rather have a family than any of that stuff. The invention and the creativity and the insight of a mind that feeds itself like a free energy device, the spark of life that is hope that nobody talks about, is so incredibly important, and it's never been more important than it is now. I've been there many times. I think, I'm generalizing here, and I could be wrong, but I know I'm right. The amount of time that I've spent in absolute hopelessness because these things were so bad and life is just, because I have to do everything. I'm not digging ditches and I'm not living on the street, but you have to ask yourself, what is the hope or the spark? And someone will say, well, it's just ignorance. They just don't know any better. They don't know how awful they have it. Like somebody pushing a cart down the street, they got no home, and they're living in a sleeping bag and a $40 Walmart tent. It's like that person is way more happy than the people who have been consumed by the possessions that now possess them. Mega millionaires. Now, we all wish we were like that, and I wished I was too. Not that I care about money, but that, I could take a vacation, and I could actually, one of the things I'd love to do, I got a lot of people that watch me in Australia and Canada, and especially England and Germany. There are other countries, but those are the top. I just love to go there and say, hey, let's have a meetup, and let's go have some coffee, and could you show me some of the awesomes, because I'm basically half German, and, a third or more British. I would love to visit, the lands of my peeps, as they say, right? But, I can't do that. And just for that reason I wish, but that doesn't cause me to be hopeless. A lot of people let the hopelessness consume them, and what they do is, there's a movie called The Host, and it was written by the same lady that wrote those werewolf movies. What was it again? Twilight series. It was called The Host, and there's these aliens that go into a person, and they take their body over and their eyes glow blue, and it's like, what about the person that you took over? And they say, well, eventually they just fade away into oblivion. Not that there is such a thing as oblivion. And the people that still are, struggling against that are the ones that still have hope eternal. And there's that hope and seed that people don't talk about that's so incredibly important, and it's more important now than it's ever been. Remember the movie The Matrix? There's always sort of philosophical things in the Matrix movies, I know. Towards the end there, where there's a million agent Smiths there, there's like a million of them. They're looking at the head of the agent Smiths, and he's going after Neo, and he keeps pushing him down, and he knows that Neo has no chance to go. He just down, and he gets up again and down, and the head of the head agent Smith says, "Why do you keep getting up? Why? 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 What is it? What is it?" And he says, "Because I choose to." But the real truth of that, or the correct translation would be, because I have hope, and I am not going to fold like a cheap card table. It's just not going to happen. Meaning I have will. There's the will to empowerment, and I know a lot of people don't have it, and fewer and fewer people have it. They just feel that, we feel like we're shackled to this world where we can't actually, and you can ultimately never own anything, but you can say it's yours, and everybody knows it's yours, and that's a system that's free and pure. But hope and hope is not a wish. People think that it is. People have become hopeless, and I know why. I see the same thing you do. They see the ignorance of the world, and everything is in perpetual flux. It's like, why do it, Why care? That most things are futile. I'll never own a house. The harder I work, I make less money, and my time gets... So I not only have no money, I have no time. It's like, I'd rather be super poor and have time to do what I want, and a lot of people are going that way now, and I know they're being pushed in that direction. There's an old saying and belief, and you could think it's true or not. You could replace God with actual hope. They say that hope shines through. This self-ruination of people that deprive themselves of their very essence, they're actually making rot their own ruination. And worry about the existential. Why do it, Like, why take a shower? I'm just going to have to take another one tomorrow. Why work hard to make money? It's just the government's going to take it from me anyway. I'll never be able to afford a house. I'd rather be super broke and, I get that feeling. And this has nothing to do with money, even though I keep mentioning that, but have you noticed that all of a sudden there's just all these store chains that are closing down? This is just, I don't actually care about any of these, but it's a long laundry list of them. Like, the Big Lots are declaring bankruptcy. There's 3 or 4 burger joints, big national chains, not that I care about that either, declaring bankruptcy. Same with Pizza Huts. My local retail stores, a couple of which that I worked at, they're going out of business. There's this folding up of everything, and every little thing is just like another chip in the wall until it breaks through, and the waters of hope get drained through the wall by the perpetual, constant, nonstop erosion of their will to deprive us of hope. And you have to be like the people out there in the ocean. The people that do the rescues out there say that it's not, like you say, super skinny, not super skinny, super fit person, perfect genetics, perfect health. They didn't make it, I say, after being in the ocean for 24 hours. And I know fat people actually fare better in cold waters because the fat's in insulation. That's not what I'm talking about. They lose they lose all hope. And once that happens, it's no different than that movie, The Host is the name of that movie. Where the aliens occupy the people, and they say, well, what happens to the person that you occupy? Well, I just fade away into oblivion, It's just kind of like they're falling down a bottomless pit, and after a while, you don't hear from them anymore. We have total dominance over over the body of that which they were, which that person is gone. They're still there, but they've lost all hope. And I see so much of that out in society. I mean, a lot. When society actually sees incredible hopelessness, there's this penchant for self-ruination. I see it everywhere. I mean, bad ruination. And this is where good is bad and bad is good. And I see super gorgeous, beautiful people that have lost all hopes. Like, what's wrong with you, You're drop dead gorgeous, you're young and you're healthy, and there is no person on this earth, including a blind person, that wouldn't say this person is on the path, they have lost all hope, they are on a total jump, headed off the cliff to self-ruination. It's just blatantly obvious. I mean, you could see it from a mile off. It's like, I can't say the things that I see, but you know exactly what I'm referring to. I mean, it's just bad. By the way, here in about 4 days, I think, 45,000 union dock workers at the seaports on the east and the Gulf coasts are going to disrupt shipments of basically everything. So if you can think of anything that you need, you should get it now before, once that stops, 4 or 5 days, just the supply chains will, shrivel up and fall off the vine. I just wanted to mention that to you because that is coming. All indications are that there's just absolutely zero chance that these dock workers, 45,000 plus of them, are not going to strike and completely wreak ruination upon imports into the United States of countless things. Cars, parts, fruit, I mean, you name it, it's coming in through those ports. Nobody talks about hope. They just don't. I see hopelessness in young, healthy people, wandering around, for example. It's like they're afraid of their own shadow. They got the, you know what I'm talking about? I'll see like husband and wife or a family, the whole family, they're wandering around like this. Oh my God, I'm afraid of my own shadow. Like, really? I don't care. You just look at them and shake your heads like, you could say that's fear, but it's a type of hopelessness. But true hope is the spark of the soul. It has nothing to do with the consciousness. It has nothing to do with the brain or gray matter. It has nothing to do with any aspect of psychophysicality. It actually has to do with that signal. The soul, not perfect analogy, but pretty close, is that spark of life, the animus, spiritus animus, the signal. It's no different than turning the radio off. It's like, I used to listen to this, but now the radio's broken, and, it's no use anymore. It may be good for parts. I'm going to throw it over in the corner. A lot of people are like that. They're just like, I don't want to participate anymore. All the spark of hope has left their lives. And when you do that, you have total control over people. And there is no free will at that point. I can't stand it when people talk about free will. Free will is only potential, it's not actual. Genetically, an acorn and an oak tree are 100% identical. Acorn and an oak tree, right? 100%. Well, you can't get any lumber out of an acorn. You can't get any shade out of an acorn. You can't get a million things out of an acorn. Free will only exists to those that have actualized it, but referring to free will, you're actually detached from and are more self-similar. What's the opposite of dilution? The opposite of dilution is concentration. More of something that you want. People that are deluded among the psychophysical are easily swayed, and it is easy to disambiguate or, destroy the will. People have no will or no hope. Those words are used interchangeably metaphysically because Mother Nature is simple. And it's easy to dominate. That is the control that they want. And it's an easy type of magic to do that. You're watching this Black Mirror device. Let's say I'm watching, any one of news media, right? I'm watching a bunch of flickering nonsense on an LED display. I mean, that's real magic. And you watch the misery and, the untruths and the rest of it, and you're swayed by that, and your will is destroyed by the magic through a Black Mirror device. This is a Black Mirror device, too. Obviously, I was just looking at it. It's a Black Mirror device. There is no denying this, too, and I've got a video on Black Mirror devices and the magic thereof, and it is real magic, okay? That the spark of hope, fell off of a cliff when everybody, essentially anyway in Western society, essentially everybody, got a Black Mirror device, and they let it dominate their lives. I'm old enough to remember when nobody had a Black Mirror device, and it didn't matter if they were poor, and the face was like, ew. They were way happier than the wealthy, beautiful people today. for the most part. And no money, no looks. I'm not brainwashed by my Black Mirror devices. You know, I work hard. I sleep well. I hang out with my friends. I'm talking not about me, but a normal person. Not that I'm not normal. Way happier. Black Mirror devices hit, and then it was... You can't deny that. That's 100% accurate. Check out my Black Mirror device video. The humidity is about 100%. The remnants of that storm are going to hit here sometime tomorrow. It's already raining outside. Like a large band is already reaching up into Kentucky. I hope you like this video. And like I said, this is pinned below in the comments. I recommend it highly. It's so simple. It's Swiss. Did I mention it's made in Switzerland? See, it says right there, Swiss made. So simple. You know, unless you do something really ignorant, it's essentially impossible to break this. If you take the filter out, the ceramic filter, it can be damaged. It will still work unless you like really damage it, but when it's together like this, it's protected, you know, so it's basically impossible to damage. But there's only people complaining about it is they use it and the inside is wet and they put it away in the drawer and like, oh my God, I don't like this thing, it's got mold growing on it and, you know, the filter is ruined. It's because you put it away wet. When you get your clothes out of the washing machine, you don't stick them in your drawer, do you? You put them in the dryer, right? So you do once you use it. But you're not going to use it for quite a long time. You know, you put the filter out in the regular air of a dry place and let it dry out for a week. Anyway, if you like these videos, any donations always warmly welcome. You can also, too, send me an email. And I hope you have a very lovely week. Had a lot of fun live streams talking to everybody lately. Been doing a lot of them lately, and they've been really long live streams. Thank you so much. Catch you later. Oh, and don't forget the lava lamp. I need to have a thing for the lava lamp.